Letters of Swami Vivekananda, the new edition in 4 volumes.
Letter number 612 addressed to Miss Mary Hale. Ridgely Manor, 30th October 1899. My dear optimist, I received your letter and am thankful that something has come to force optimistic laissez-faire into action. Your questions have tapped the very source of pessimism, however. British rule in modern India has only one redeeming feature, though unconscious. It has brought India out once more on the stage of the world. It has forced upon it the contact of the outside world. If it had been done with an eye to the good of the people concerned, as circumstances favored Japan with, the results would have been more wonderful for India. No good can be done when the main idea is blood sucking. On the whole, the old regime was better for the people, as it did not take away everything they had, and there was some justice, some liberty. A few hundred modernized, half educated, and denationalized men are all the show of modern English India, nothing else. The Hindus were 600 million in number according to Ferishta, the Mohammedan historian, in the 12th century, now less than 200 million. Through the centuries of anarchy that reigned during the struggles of the English to conquer, the terrible massacre the English perpetuated in 1857 and 1858. Footnote: see the history of the First War of Independence, 1857-58, a pivotal moment in India's struggle for freedom. Fierce resistance erupted in Delhi, Kanpur, Lucknow, Jhansi, and Meerut from diverse groups, including sepoys, princes, and common people, under the leadership of legendary figures like Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi. In response, the British unleashed brutal force, massacring civilians and razing cities. This war marked a turning point, transferring power to the British Crown and igniting the Indian nationalist movement. Footnote ends. And the still terrible famines that have become the inevitable consequence of British rule. There never is a famine in a native state, and that takes off millions. Yet there has been a good increase of population, but not yet what it was when the country was entirely independent. That is before the Mohammedan rule. Indian labor and produce can support 5 times as many people as there are now in India with comfort if the whole thing is not taken off from them. Footnote: see Dadabhai Nauroji's papers, The Wants and Means of India and The Poverty of India, published in London in 1870 and 1876 respectively, and his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, 1901. Footnote ends. This is the state of things. Even education will no more be permitted to spread. Freedom of the press stopped already. Of course, we have been disarmed long ago. The bit of self-government granted to them for some years is being quickly taken off. We are watching what next. For writing a few words of innocent criticism, men are being hurried to transportation for life. Footnote: read about the deportation of Indian freedom fighters to the remote Viper Island since 1858 and their subsequent imprisonment in the notorious cellular jail in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Footnote ends. Others are imprisoned without any trial and nobody knows when his head will be off. There is a reign of terror in India for some years. English soldiers are killing our men and outraging our women, only to be sent home with passage and pension at our expense. We are in a terrible gloom. Where is the Lord? Mary, you can afford to be optimistic. Can I? Suppose you simply publish this letter. The law just passed in India will allow the English government in India to drag me from here to India and kill me without trial. And I know all your Christian governments will only rejoice, because we are heathens. Shall I also go to sleep and become optimistic? Emperor Nero was the greatest optimistic person. Footnote: Emperor Nero, the infamous ruler of Rome, was allegedly playing his fiddle while Rome was burning in the Great Fire of Rome in c. 64. Footnote ends. They don't think it worthwhile to write these terrible things as news items even. If necessary, the news agent of Reuters gives the exactly opposite news fabricated to order. Heathen murdering is only a legitimate pastime for the Christians. Your missionaries go to preach God and dare not speak a word of truth for fear of the English, who will kick them out the next day. All property and lands granted by the previous governments for supporting education have been swallowed up, and the present government spends even less than Russia in education. And what education? The least show of originality is throttled. Mary, it is hopeless with us unless there really is a God who is the father of all, who is not afraid of the strong to protect the weak, and who is not bribed by wealth. Is there such a God? Time will show. Well, I think I am coming to Chicago in a few weeks and talk of things fully. Don't quote your authority. With all love, ever your brother Vivekananda. Postscript. As for religious sects, the Brahmo Samaj, the Arya Samaj, and other sects have been useless mixtures. They were only voices of apology to our English masters to allow us to live. We have started a new India, a growth. Footnote. Swamiji underlined the term a growth several times. Footnote ends. Waiting to see what comes. We believe in new ideas only when the nation wants it them, and what will be true for us. The test of truth for these Brahmos is what our masters approve. With us, what the Indian reasoning and experience approves. The struggle has begun, not between the Brahmos and us, for they are gone already, but a harder, deeper, and more terrible one. We.
Om Tat Sat.